What's up, guys, and welcome to the Henshin Hangout for Uchu Sentai Kyuranger, which translates to the Space Squad 9 Rangers, like my man Joe here up in the house. Joining us today is Danny from...
We the Geeks of East.
And tell the awesome people, what do you guys do, what are you about, and why do we love you so much? Because we do.
I am just, what we do as a team is we're just a group of fans that love Super Sentai and Power Rangers, and we dedicate our time to making fan shorts for Power Rangers and Super Sentai.
You're an expert.
Huh?
You're an expert.
I am an expert.
He is an expert. His trench coat says so.
But for some what? Sorry to cut you off there.
And we're trying to get a lot of the Ranger actors in little fan shorts as well. So,
dude, check out their content because they make great videos. They have great special guests.
Great effects.
They have great effects, and honestly, they have a great crew. Marisol, you got the kids. I mean, they get the whole community involved.
John,
kids
John,
though,
too.
And John. Shout out to John off camera. So definitely check out the Geeks. We the Geeks of East LA, Ranger family for sure. # unite. Anyways, we are here to talk about Uchu Sentai episode 6, which is called
the Flap Dancing Star.
Flap Dancing Star, which makes sense because it's kind of a unicorn Pegasus type of. It's not a unicorn. It's a Pegasus.
I don't get the flap
because it has wings. Kind of like the guy, kind of like the horse from Hercules, the Disney movie. So, dude, first time on the shows, man. Like, tell us, how do you feel about Uchu Sentai? What's your background in Sentai in general, man?
I started watching Sentai not too long ago.
Not too long ago.
Because I used to work at a hobby shop where I specialized in selling Power Ranger toys.
Did you really?
Yes.
Which one? I know that.
And Anime Jungle.
Yes!
What? That was JD's old stomping ground, I think.
I used to go there so much, man. That is the stop. That is. Speaking of Sentai,
we got
the Daigo pendant from Kyuranger.
It's one of my favorite seasons.
And actually, that's one thing I do love about Sentai in general. It's like Sentai and Bandai Premium is so good about replicating what's on the show. So if they have, like for instance, like the Kyuranger Space, the jackets.
Bandai Premium similar to Bandai, the Legacy line?
Similar if this was like more Star Wars, what am I trying to think of? Just Star Wars brand.
Like
where
sideshow collectible kind?
Kinda. It's more popular there in terms of, like now we're getting back into popularity where we're getting more prop replicas, but they do the jackets and apparels and the just the details, like the cufflinks, the pendants,
so like
the
if
necklaces.
You see what the Red Ranger's rocking and you like it,
you can buy it.
Well, I want those Kyuranger jackets.
They sell
them.
They're already selling them?
It could
pre-orders for them.
Wow. It could probably fit you. It can never fit a guy like me, unfortunately. Like my shoulders are too broad.
Really?
Like for instance, an extra large there is like a medium small.
Yeah.
A medium.
Oh, wow,
Japanese
really?
sizes.
They go down. They go down.
Oh,
like
no.
you might be able to rock it, and even then it might be snug on you.
Really?
Because you have broad shoulders too. Do you own any?
I own a few.
Jackets?
I own Captain Marvelous's
that's
coat,
awesome.
Ian's jacket from Kyuranger,
Which is actually a dope leather jacket. So.
and Gokei Silver's jacket.
Yes, absolutely.
Those are the Bandai Premiums that I own.
Yeah. I would totally rock a champ jacket.
And these are officially licensed.
Yes.
Yes.
So the tag says it has the logo for the Sentai.
They're not cheap though, I hear.
No.
You'll have to save a little bit. I mean, you could definitely probably substitute it for like Ranger suits or helmets.
Oh,
or
wow.
They're not that bad, but they're also not cheap.
No, but the thing is, I think the pre-orders for the Kyuranger jackets are like $3.99.
Yeah, not terrible.
That's full price though, $3.99.
I think so.
That's not bad. That's not terrible.
Aftermarket though, once they discontinue.
But you have to think in terms of like what that costs, like what you can get for $3.99 in terms of clothing here in the United States.
Exactly. There's always going to be, well, as a collector, actually, truth be told, as a collector, I always do that math where I'm like, I could either get this or I could probably get a couple of these.
Sure.
I even do food math. Like, I could either buy this or I could go to a buffet like 10 times.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. Like, you could get a Sentai jacket or you could pretty much put it towards like a full Ranger suit.
Right.
So give and take, but it is officially licensed.
Yes.
It is the texture, it is the fabric, and it is all the details from the Sentai show.
Yes.
Are we saying that it's made from the exact quality?
It's more or less.
More or less.
But
So they're not like replicas.
So like
No.
yeah.
No,
and so I personally own some knockoffs, and if you hold them like side by side,
You can tell the
you
difference.
can tell the difference.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like trying to find like a Finn jacket from like Star Wars. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, that one doesn't have the patch in
That's
the right
really
place.
interesting.
Or this one's colored differently.
Well, is it worth the investment?
If you like it, yes. Because when I rock the Marvelous coat, I feel marvelous.
You felt marvelous. I love it.
Well, see, the Kyuranger jacket, like I would get Lucky's, but you can almost rock that anywhere.
You
Nobody's
can.
Gonna not. It's just a jacket.
I want a champ jacket. I want a champ jacket.
I think they're pretty cool.
The only problem is I don't think they fit us. I just don't think
You
it
should
would
give it a
fit us.
shot.
Actually, I asked, actually shout out to Procrastinator Ranger. She sells a lot of them,
Yeah.
and she already told me, like, no, straight up, you're too big.
Oh, really?
You're too big. It really runs small. It really runs pretty small. Like, you have to be a really slender guy.
Yeah, like a large is medium, a medium is small, a
If you're
small
lucky.
is extra small.
But on the cool
Japanese
side,
sizes.
on the cool side, like all the apparels and all the
The apparels
necklaces
and
and the cuffs,
necklaces, yeah.
those are dope. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, shout out to Bandai Premium of Japan. So, talking about Kyuranger, we actually addressed the elephant in the room a lot in this episode. So, the opening sequence updating as we know. So we have all the Rangers now. I love the fact that Stinger is pretty much a lone wolf saying like everyone's kind of an idiot. Like, hey, you're going to join us. I'm out. No, call me when you need me. You know what I'm saying? So
That doesn't carry over. I don't feel like.
Huh?
I don't think that carries over.
No, I'm talking about like what did I say?
No, you were right. I get what you were saying. Maybe it's because I'm an episode ahead and I keep forgetting which episode.
Oh, got it. Well, up to this point, for those of us who are in the time.
Yeah, Stinger doesn't want to do or participate in the dance that they're doing.
Yeah,
The routine.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, we kind of addressed a big elephant in the room, a couple of big elephants in the room, which is Lucky the leader or who should be the leader?
We actually posed this question too.
We did. And the other question was, what's up with the luck? What's up with the luck? And they actually addressed it. I thought that was kind of a nice touch.
Smart, actually.
Really smart. Necessary,
And
would
I also
say.
think the ending is really smart too. Like at the end of the episode, what Lucky says, you know,
Which is,
we don't need a leader,
Yeah.
you know,
And that
it's like
made it
we're
beautiful.
all leaders, you know, and it also makes sense with what they do because you know how they said, oh, we have a budget, none of y'all can be
I
out
love
at the
that.
same time.
Yep.
You know, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a point where Lucky won't be able to join them, you know, and they're.
Do you
gonna-
think so?
Probably.
I was hoping that, but I don't see that being a scenario. Like, it's very hard for me to imagine that team going on like a mission without
him.
a Red Ranger, per se.
But there has been episodes in Sentai where the Red Ranger is actually the one in trouble.
True.
Right.
And
True.
they all work as a team without the Red Ranger.
I have a couple thoughts. Number one, the Kyureno, the Megazord, needs the Red Ranger to form it.
Yes,
The middle
because it's
of
the
that.
center.
But we also do know, especially in this episode, the globe can switch out.
Yeah.
Which is
it-
super cool.
Which is, it could really, it could introduce a couple of scenarios, you know what I mean? It could be like a person could control his ship while he sets it out. And I could totally see it being one of those things where if he doesn't get picked, he's going to be like, oh, it's so lucky because now you get to go.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
lucky because I wanted to sit out anyways. It's lucky I have a date, whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying? So on one hand, I could see him sitting out, but on the other hand, they do need his Megazord for the Megazord.
Yeah.
Or from the mech, I should say. So we finally got a little bit more on Hammy, and I think she's super cute. She is short
She's adorable.
as
She's
crap.
great.
Like she's the definition of a shorty.
Well, let me ask you
Go
guys
for it.
something. Prior to this episode, who should be the leader?
Prior to this episode, I would almost say either Garu or Champ.
Garu. I don't think Garu at all.
I don't think so either.
Okay, that was a Champ.
You know, it's interesting because I mean, I'm not including the commander, obviously, because even then, I think he's
He's
not
a
a
goof.
leader anyway.
But this episode, they actually showed that he's probably smarter or
He's
more
playing
wise.
smarter than it seems. It's a tough question because I don't necessarily think it's Champ either. Honestly, with all the pep talks, I would say it's Lucky. Like he comes off to me more so as like a reluctant leader.
See, the reason, okay, I wasn't actually including Lucky.
Oh, you weren't.
I actually wasn't including Lucky in the sense that, besides the obvious, oh, I'm the Red Ranger, I'm calling out the shots, because up until this point, he was still doing the Red Ranger stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he may not have had like the official title, and technically he still doesn't, but he was the centerfold. He was the one that was calling out the command. He was the guy that's bringing them together, so he was de facto commander. or at least field commander.
I also think that role's going to shift from episode to episode.
In what sense?
I think that the leader role is going to have, like, different people are going to give different orders depending on what scenario they're in.
Exactly. And also the highlight episodes for them.
Character focus episodes.
Well, here's something that I think would be cool is that what I'd like to see is, for example, let's say this is a Hammy character episode. Let's just say it was.
It kind of was.
It kind of was. Let's say it's her episode. I'd like to see somebody else take the lead and have her kind of have to learn from that, which, like Gold or like Balance or like Naga, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that kind of interchange, but do you think that we will get a definitive leader at the course of this season?
I think definitive in terms of both name and by role.
Like somebody that you can clear cut say, all right, that person was the leader.
That's so lucky though. I mean,
It's
even before this episode, which is why I didn't count him in terms of the question.
I'm hoping it's the commander, to be honest with you.
I don't think so. I think the commander is going to play his shtick, which is I'm goofy, but I also have a lot of wisdom that you don't expect.
Sure.
Which is like, hey, I don't know what's happening. By the way, teamwork.
Yeah.
But go ahead and dance. But there's a reason for it. You guys are all crazy. But no, seriously, use this to win. That kind of thing. Kind of like that whole, I'm really smarter than, I'm like Yoda. I'm like the crazy Yoda versus, judge me, do not, by my size, and all that stuff. So anyways, but I do like the fact that it is a focus. So Hammy's kind of like a little Kelly, like in a lot of ways, where it's just like, okay, I feel like I should be the leader. Or I should be, not to say that Kelly's like, oh, I should be in charge. It's more like, if I could do it, I should do it. You know what I mean? Sure. Like she's more than capable, and that's what Hammy is. She has a lot of weight on her shoulders.
She kind of said her background too.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
We finally got more of an explanation as far as why she's called the Shinobi Star.
Which is cool.
Which is awesome.
I really dig that.
And it actually adds to the whole chameleon, because Shinobi, ninjas, because up until that point, I'm like, oh, that's a cool name, but I'm also not sure why you called that. Because we have like the rock star or the whatever stars, and all that stuff. So she's a Shinobi Star, but I love that. So we also know she's the daughter of like great Shinobis in the past, that type of stuff. So we have the introduction to the Pegasus.
Oh, good old Pegasus.
Good old Pegasus. I thought this was
a cool gimmick.
I thought it was a lot of fun. You know what? I love the fact that he was able to wear it outside of the uniform.
Honestly,
I like the fact that it took over. Control it.
And that's what I like, seeing him just like, whoa, I can't,
And he couldn't control it. That was dope. And he had to get it. He had to tame it.
He had to tame it.
Which was super cool.
Beautiful. Shout out to the actor who had to do a whole bunch of chest pops the whole time by kind of converting.
I had a problem with the stickers on it.
Oh, yeah.
It had to be bendable.
No, which is great, but they didn't fix it.
Yeah, they didn't fix it.
That just like...
Hey, man, budget.
Bugged my eye. Yeah, of course, budget, but it's still like...
honest.
But yeah, I really like that. I like the teaming. I also like the fact that it was the group dance as well.
Yes.
Because that showed them working as a team in sync,
Let's be honest. The commander throwing in that dance, regardless if it kind of helped, there was no way the commander would have been like, if I teach them this dance, they're going to fight a lot better together. Come on. At the end, they actually incorporated it in the fight. Yeah, come on.
I think it's great.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But it's more like, you know what? We need to get together.
But you know what's so smart about this show?
We're gonna dance.
The brilliance is this show is so tongue in cheek. But they make it work. Like that's the key that I think current Power Rangers is kind of lacking.
Sure.
It's
clear things.
This show's doing a great job of playing the fine line of keeping a coherent story, but also making fun of itself and making fun of the tropes. But it's almost like the Deadpool wink at the audience. You're in on the joke. Like I love it. It's for the older audience.
Well, what they did too is like, oh, his Pegasus time is past. And everybody's sad. He wakes up. He's like, "Well, you guys are trying to write me off."
Yeah. He's like, "I'm not dead, you idiots.
Great.
What the hell?"
That's great. That was brilliant. Like what they're doing is they
break the fourth wall.
Yeah, they're breaking the fourth wall,
and
I love the fact that they're taking a step and doing that. But I feel like here in the United States, we take Power Rangers very seriously. People take Power Rangers very seriously.
We try to make it more serious than what it is.
Well, the problem with the United States is parents. It's parents.
Well, it can also be, I don't want to throw shade on anybody.
It's production and producers and certain.
I think there's this this division between like Saban and Toy, and I think that right now Saban's very much about It's almost like when we were kids. You remember when we were kids? Well, maybe because you didn't start at Mighty Morphin, but you did. Where it was like, don't kick. I mean, we can't ever have Rangers fight against other humans because that's. And to me, it's kind of like, who cares?
It toned it down. I mean, you could actually see the evolution.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Like, that's why the music producer for MMPR said, he's like, they started taking my creativity away. Yeah. I can't use words like fight, you know?
Sure.
And that's the songs that get kids pumped up, you know?
Those amp songs.
And that's the problem with you know, Power Rangers today. That's why when I used to work at Anime Jungle, Shin, who's he loves Super Sentai. He is very knowledgeable on it. He told me, why did the American change the sword to that spinning star? And I told him, honestly, it's the parents.
That's true.
You know, if kids had the morpher as a sword, they're gonna start whacking each other. You know, and it's that whole like, oh, it's too violent.
But you don't think that same problem would transpire because Star Wars is based around lightsabers.
Actually, if I could jump in real quick, I mean, a couple of things you have to consider as well is, I mean, you're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up. You could actually see the reflection of toys and gimmicks based on the Power Ranger season, depending on human fighting. You can't see certain contacts made with certain moves. Like Dino Charge kind of pushed the envelope a little bit with certain like Coda episodes where he was fighting the Rangers and he really fought these Rangers. Also keep in mind, the Morpher last season was a gun.
Yeah.
No matter how you slice it, it was a gun. So a couple of things are taken into consideration. It is the consensus. It is the marketing. It's also what's appealing, which is why we got no Burger Morpher, because it makes no damn sense. But also, and I'm glad you're getting into this now, Sentai isn't afraid to make fun of itself. Yeah. Certain Sentai seasons are a little bit more campier, a little bit more cartoony.
I heard that Car Ranger is like that.
Car Ranger is one big parody.
Yeah.
It's one big parody. Matter of fact, our RPM equivalent, Go Onger, was very much a humor season. Very much a humor season.
Such a huge contrast to what
Huge
RPM
contrast.
is.
But when you think about it, it makes sense.
RPM does the American version of
Sentai
too, though.
It did in Sentai, where it makes fun of the suit.
Well, same thing with Dino Thunder.
A little bit.
A little bit. Like, I love the Lost in Translation episode.
Sure.
You know, where it's kind of like, all right, we're going to pull the curtain back. And I like those things. But in Kyuranger, it does it subtly throughout the whole season, throughout the whole season. And I think that's brilliant.
And it is that tone balance that's what Sentai has. It is that tone balance. It is about making it fun. And literally, you could be and this is what I love about more tokusatsu, rather than just Sentai, but just tokusatsu production. You could look at any single Ranger in one scene, watch the same scene 3 times in a row, and capture something else they're doing. Each character is so specific. You might see Gold Ranger just going like this in the background to himself, and you didn't notice that the first time because you were paying attention to Lucky. Or you see like Champ in the background just kind of in the mirror because that's what Champ does, but it is staying consistent because they're so clear with their characters.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you're both getting into Sentai because this is very common.
Well, a great thing too that's different from this show is they shoot it so cinematically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like every episode I've seen there's at least one stunning shot in there.
Yeah.
That just kind of like, wow, this is crazy.
Like
visually stunning.
Sure.
Like it's beautiful the way this show
Cinematography.
shot. And the pacing of the show is really good too. Like the storyline is very coherent. Like you understand what the mission is from the beginning, and it also plays throughout the whole course of the season. But it doesn't matter what planet you get to because something new is kind of going on. So it's still self-contained, but you can jump on at any point and kind of get what's going on.
I'm glad you mentioned that because with the story itself, it is a very simple story at this point. They haven't thrown too many curveballs. You're an episode ahead, but for instance, we have a little bit of, for instance, Stinger's reveal with his brother.
That's great. I love that.
Just little components, but in general, but before that, it was a very straightforward, hey, there's an evil empire, we need to take them down, we're the rebellion, our spaceship kind of looks like a daycare on the inside. You kind of go with that, but what really makes it work is the themes, the character designs, even just the diversity. This cast
that's the other
and the
thing
species is very diverse.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's the great thing about the season is the diversity. You're learning different things from each character, and I think that's the strongest thing about Sentai.
Yeah.
That all their characters are different, and each episode, it's like you said, you see one doing something, they all have their characteristics, and everything is just so well written that sometimes you lose that focus because you're so focused on one character.
Case in point, the dance sequence, when they're all doing something, they all kind of do the same moves, but like Silver Naga. He's on the ground
Yeah,
doing like more
breakdancing,
hip hop stuff,
yeah.
and that comes from nowhere. The most boring Vulcan dude on the team who understands nothing about emotions. Everyone's doing their steps, and this dude's on the ground, you know, getting a b-boy on. Like, that's random. It's not, I mean, to interrupt, but that's a great scene.
Yeah,
and then you see Raptor, and she's doing like her whole superstar in her imagination thing.
Yeah.
She's like cheering herself on.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody has like their own thing, and it's just.
Well, I feel like what happened is that those characters got fleshed out before they started shooting. They were like, this is kind of who you are, this is where you're going. So they know how to kind of play it. Whereas I think, you know, no offense to the American version, but I have a feeling that since so much is based on the Japanese version, at least footage-wise, they have to construct a story that's kind of already been told and try to do that differently. So it's a little restraining in that sense. But I'm really curious to see that when this does get adapted, because let's be real, it's going to get adapted here.
I think it's been confirmed.
No, yeah, it's.
Yeah, so I think when it does get adapted here, I'm curious to see if they're going to use the tokusatsu, like balance. Like, are they going to use kind of
The
like
out-of-suit
species characters?
Well, they did it for SPD.
For
They
Kruger,
did.
I
But
love that.
also keep in mind, SPD was a very different era. I mean,
Yeah.
we're now in the Nickelodeon New Saban. I mean,
Neo
yes.
Saban.
And now we do have Chip Lin,
Well,
which has
they-
been great.
They had
But
Torting.
True, very true.
Xenowing.
I will say this. I mean, season finale aside, for Super anyways, Dino Charge did a great job taking a lot of influence from Kyuranger, but making it fresh. It was definitely fresh. My biggest gripe with Ninja Steel is I don't feel like it's completely clearly as themed as some of our other seasons.
Yeah.
Like even the whole, I mean, I know we've had this discussion as far as the missing dad thing, but at the same time, it didn't necessarily have to. I feel like it hasn't offered anything completely fresh. It's definitely different from the Ninja, absolutely, completely different from the Ninja. But I don't know what the stakes are. If anything, I feel like the bad guys have a legitimate TV show to run. They just happen to throw their aliens on Earth.
It's just like it had a great start to me. It had a great start.
Talking Ninja Steel.
Yeah, Ninja Steel.
You think so?
Had a great start, but then it just went into being Power Rangers.
You know what? I think though it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I think for me personally, it was so hyped. Like
Yeah.
it was so hyped. We came off of a great Morphicon. We had that Yoshi Sidarso, Peter Sidarso thing.
That was a great moment.
So
we had the cast change.
But well, yeah,
You also have the yellow cast change.
So all the outside things that kind of influenced it for me
factors.
was kind of like it outshined what the show actually was. I think that had I been given this show without any build-up, I had liked it a lot more.
Have I been given the show without the title? I would have liked it a little bit more. I'll be honest. I mean, if you're gonna call a season Ninja Steel, and let's face it, we've heard Ninja Steel maybe a couple of times. One of them in the first episode where the Ninja Steel itself were just shrapnels from the freaking thing that fell on the planet. Like that's what Ninja
Well, let
Steel
me ask
is.
you, did you have a problem with RPM?
No.
the
Wait.
title doesn't
What do
necessarily-
you mean by a problem?
Because the title RPM is to me that signifies driving, like a driving season.
I mean, it does, but at the same time, I mean, literally, it does stand for like whatever RPM stands for, like
Yeah.
per minute, like
Right.
revolutions per minute. But it does, at least it's indicative for like high octane, you know what I mean? Which it did have, especially with the cars and the vehicles. At least with that theme. This one is like,
I mean, it's thrown together for sure, but I think RPM in terms of title falls into this same category that you're talking about because their suits have all these like tire things on them.
Sure.
And I don't feel like I never felt like I really got a sense of like this is like a car-based season. I never felt like that.
I'll tell you what, I won't disagree with you, but for whatever reason, call it a little biasm, call it maybe
Well,
just
I think it's
what-
because RPM was a strong season though too that I look past.
It's
that.
a very strong season, but I'll be honest with you, even with Ninja Steel, it's not a terrible season. It's not. It's a good. I like the cast. It's good. Do I feel like there's a strong plot? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, it's yes, yeah, correct. At least with even Dino Charge, love it or hate it, it was a discovery season. Discovering the Energem, discovering a lost father, discovering new Zords. Everything about it was almost like Pirates of Blackwater, where you had to find the stuff just to collect the Dragon Balls.
You know, I was talking to Seamus from No Pink Spandex.
Shout
last
out to
week.
Seamus.
He's great. And we were talking about just Ninja Steel in general. And he was saying that so many things, for this to be a good season, they'd have to correct so many things at this point.
I agree.
In order to get there. I'm curious because I've noticed a trend, and I think Eric Berry's Ranger Command Power is really stated it, is that he noticed the trend of like, you get brought in for a great season, then you kind of have a down season, and then you have another down season, but then you have a great season. So it's a weird trend that executive producers kind of get
But
filled
that's
into.
what happens with Super Sentai too. You know,
To be fair.
It happened with with a ninja.
Right.
You know,
Very lackluster in Japan. Very, very lackluster.
Zouger
Did well. It did well.
picked it up more, and now we have
This. And not to mention, our tastes are very are different too. Like, for instance, Gokaiger is loved Westernized.
Yes.
Like, on the Western front, for us, we love Gokaiger. Japan, it was good. It was strong in Japan. It wasn't as strong in Japan as it was for us. Afterwards, it became like, holy crap, Gokaiger was a great season because Go Buster.
Compare it to what we got here.
Yeah. I will say this. The Super Mega Force finale was better than Dino Charge. Sorry. It just was.
No, I agree.
It just was. If you knew nothing about the hype.
Like I keep saying, this whole Super Mega Force thing, if the internet didn't exist, this would be the biggest episode in Power Ranger history.
If JDF's social media account didn't exist.
I mean, yeah.
Specifically with that. He called TMZ. Come on.
Did he really?
Yes, he actually did this whole thing on TMZ.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure he self-taped the damn thing.
Did he really?
Hey guys, it's your boys Jason, David, Frank. I just want to let you know that Tommy is back for the Super Mega War. The Green and White Ranger. I'm gonna get so much shit for that. I shouldn't say that, but Jason, David, Frank did do this whole thing for TMZ. Yeah. It was a big hyped thing, at least from his end.
Sure.
All for, hey guys, bye guys, and that was it.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
But
it was
even
unfortunate.
He didn't like it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh really?
I didn't hear that.
I didn't know that.
What'd you hear?
He said it.
He did.
He was like, I'm sorry for being so hyped up for this.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's the first for me, so you heard it here, folks.
Pulling the curtain back.
JDF was a little disappointed in himself. But we're here to talk about Super... I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I mean, the thing that Super Sentai does really well, like the 100 Years Later, they also do like all these epic... They do these epic team-ups. I think the difference, too, is in Super Sentai, I feel like the people that have been Rangers, opposed to America, they take pride in it.
Yeah.
It's like
huge.
It's a badge of honor for them.
It is.
Whereas
it's
here,
so true.
we're getting there now. But it's at this point, it's almost taken us 25 years to get there.
The relevancy in Japan is so strong.
Yeah.
Our relevancy now, Power Rangers is recognized, but as far as it being so celebrated, in Japan, Sentai is celebrated.
They have a museum.
They have museums.
We
They
don't
have
even have
specific eateries dedicated to themes for Sentai.
It's a trope out there.
Tokusatsu world.
It's
Sentai
a culture. It's essentially it's a actual subculture out there.
Absolutely. So I love the fact that you are able to grasp that concept. I mean, it is huge there. We're now finding our pride as Ranger fans. Now Ranger fans who were ashamed being Ranger fans, but we're in 2017 where we have a big budget movie with Lionsgate.
We had to grow up with it.
We grew up with it.
I think this is very similar to Doctor Who. Like when Doctor Who came out, it was always recognized as a kids show.
I see.
And it was very much like Power Rangers actually, where it was like rubber suit monsters. Essentially in England or in the UK, that's how Doctor Who was known. And then it left for like 10 years or whatever, and then it started gaining credibility with the actors they would bring on. Now you're getting people that are like, right now the current rumor for the next Doctor is ranging from Idris Elba to Tilda Swinton. So you have like A-list actors that are familiar with this because it's the audience that grew up with it.
I would love it if it was Idris Elba.
So would I actually. A lot of people are saying that as well. But I think that...
But they also want him for James Bond too.
I do too. But it's one of those things where Power Rangers now has become that for us. But it seems like right out of the gate though, I think the Japanese audience with the Sentai automatically embraces it. Sure. Like, I mean, the truth is I don't know because I wasn't around for almost 40 years ago or something.
Sure, of course. I mean, none of us were, to be honest with you. I mean, we caught the wave, and then
Josh Goldman was.
We had shout out to that guy. But we had to reverse engineer our understanding of Sentai, and even the cultural impact of Sentai.
Our version.
Yeah, not to mention, even with our richness or our cultural integration with Power Rangers, we went from the heightened phenomenon to it losing its steam and not being the same type of show, from actor disputes to cast and tone shifts, and even element shifts, and even what gimmick shifts. So in terms of Sentai, it's always been clear as far as what it's been. For us, it's been hanging on.
Yep.
It's been hanging on. Not to say it's a bad thing. Some seasons went up, but now it's a celebrated, like, man, it's been around for over 2 decades.
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier,
sorry guys, we love to nerd out about this stuff. You're gonna nerd out with us. Let us know how you feel.
It's because for me, it's the Sentai. I mean, you've been in it for a while, Sentai wise. You and I are fairly new to it. So like your first Sentai, do you know what your first Sentai was?
Gokaiger.
Gokaiger. So
Like, I make no qualms about it. I'm sorry to interrupt, but like literally, I make no secrets about Gokaiger. I'm a Gokaiger like convertist, where I reverse engineered. As soon as I saw this, I'm like, man, I gotta watch this other
see,
stuff.
for me, I would buy the team up movies, like when I was a lot younger, because it was like, oh, this is. But I never followed a season until Kyuranger.
Sure.
So that was like my first introduction,
Which is the Dino Charge equivalent.
and I loved it. And the reason is for me equally as good was the first season of Dino Charge. And I love the fact that you can take both of those and they're two completely different things.
Great call.
Absolutely. Here's the one thing I am nervous about though. Kyuranger's really good.
Really good.
So I feel that I'm putting so much pressure on the American version in my head. I shouldn't be, but it's almost like an unnatural bias.
Welcome to Super Mega Force, man.
Yeah.
Welcome to Super Mega Force. You literally, word for word, understand what we did to that season. All in all, Super Mega Force wasn't terrible. Honestly, we give it a lot more crap than what it really deserves. I mean, was it a great season? No. Was it the season it could have been? Absolutely not. But it looks like Ninja Super Steel might be, might be making it up for lost effort.
But you know what I do like about Mega Force though, and Super Mega Force?
I'm giving Mega Force credit.
Is the fact that there were kids that I see dressing up as these. That's their Rangers.
Yes.
So like Troy and Cameron or what? Orion and
Emma
and Gia, like
and
these,
Jake.
These are
Noah.
These are their Rangers.
Yeah,
and I think that's cool. Like I like the fact.
That's the thing. Like the reason I got back into Power Rangers is because I saw my little sister and my little brother watching Samurai. To me, I stopped watching Power Rangers. It was after Ninja Storm.
Oh wow!
You know? So when they were watching Samurai, I was like, wow, this is still going?
Right.
There's Samurai.
Everybody gets that reaction.
And then my sister's like, what do you mean it's still going? You know, I was like, well, you know, and that's when I introduced you to Mighty Morphin, and that's when we watched it all up to Mystic Force.
That's awesome.
You know,
and
we're still watching it.
That's awesome.
And this is a testament as far as longevity because, and then we'll get back to Sentai, I promise. But in terms of longevity, I'm finding like people who had a problem with Samurai are going back and saying, you know what, Samurai wasn't that bad. People who had like the biggest, well, you aside. But
you know what truth is? Maybe I have to rewatch it.
Honestly, I've been hearing like a lot more people going back, like even for instance, like Super Mega Force and Mega Force. Yeah, it was really crapped on. Going back on it now, it's not that terrible.
No,
and guess
yes,
what?
I agree.
The kids dressed up for that season.
Yeah.
People really dressed up for that season. It was still an anniversary season, and love it or hate it, it was not a Gokaiger, but you got to see these past Rangers and them using powers from over 20 years.
That's the thing. That's why when I was showing my little brother, my little sister, Mighty Morphin and on, it was going towards the Super Mega Force War.
Yeah.
And when the hype was there, I was just like, oh, great. You know, I'm so happy this is happening because now they know these people, you know?
Sure.
And once the cameos started, they freaked out, you know, and it's great.
It's a great
to see
reaction.
that.
That's awesome.
And now that they know, like, some of the history of Power Rangers, they say, oh, wow, you know, the Super Mega Force morphed into Mighty Morphin. They did Zeo. They did, you know,
SPD.
They did a mixture of them. You know,
Jungle Fury.
I do think it was lazy though on the American side for not editing out the Rangers that didn't have American counterparts.
Let me get your input on this because in the Sentai Gokaiger, man, they had no issues bringing back past Rangers. Matter of fact, it was celebrated. They were looking forward to it. There was a whole tsunami thing that hit Japan, so they all collectively volunteered their time to make Gokaiger happen. Well, on our end,
just to cut you off real quick, we even talk about how proud they are. Is there the current Pink Ranger that voices? I'm sorry, from Kyuranger that voices Raptor is one of the.
It's the Yellow Ranger from Gokaiger.
Which is super cool.
Luca, which is Mao. Like I'm probably butchering your name. Apologies. You're beautiful.
But isn't that's so cool though?
That happens a lot. Matter of fact,
that's what I love.
Kyurangers. Matter of fact, you saw the episode where Ian lost his partner, his traveling partner. That Black Ranger was Goandra Black.
Oh wow.
RPM Black.
No, and also.
And it happens a lot.
Space Sheriff. He's
Gavin.
He's Battle Fever J. He's Denjiman, and he's Space Sheriff. You know.
Is he?
So let me explain this for everybody. I try to catch up. So basically, this one actor. So great point, Danny. This one actor, same guy, has been in maybe two Sentais, and he had his own show as a Space Sheriff Gavin, which is like our metal heroes, kind of like VR Troopers.
So he's almost like our Kellen.
Is that like
Ninja Steel?
Wait, who?
What's his name?
Yes.
He's been in like 3 seasons.
He's almost like Shelby's dad.
Oh yeah.
Shelby's dad, where he's always like the Black Ranger's dad. Or African American
It's like
dad.
Tommy, you know how he portrayed so many.
But the difference is Tommy's been Tommy throughout. This guy plays completely different characters.
I think that's cool.
And the cool thing too is in Go Kaiger, you know, he meets all his 3 counters.
It's a huge joke. It's a huge joke.
So great.
And they actually look at him like,
yeah.
why do you have the same face? And then the
then
freaking nerd.
They freak out and they're like, wow, you do look like
But
me.
the nerd had to be the one to step in. He was like, no, guys, they look way different.
Yeah.
This guy kind of smells like sunflowers. This guy's cologne is clearly this way. This guy, if you look at him really closely, he doesn't look anything like the other ones.
Great.
And it's like the same actors going like, yeah, we don't look anything
The
alike.
great thing too is that the announcer just like pops out of nowhere. He's like, you guys should all Henshin for the fans.
It's so lame.
And it's so great.
It's the best thing ever. It's like really, that's breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
That's
so smart.
And that's the thing that Sentai does, because they had fun with it. But like you said, it's the richness of the lore, and it is the cultural impact that, again, museums dedicated to these
they
guys.
created their own trope.
True.
Is what happened is they created their own universe and their sandbox they can play in, and the great thing is they're owning it.
Yes.
Like it's one of those things where it's like they listen, it's spandex suits, rubber monsters, like, and they get it, and that's the formula of what it is, and mechs.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like they understand it and they want to play with it any way they can, and they'll make fun of it along the way, and I applaud them for that, because I feel like here like I said, we don't get enough of that here at this
Not at
point,
all.
especially with the fan
It's
base.
because it's like I said, you know, again, it's parents, because
You're right.
It's a toy commercial.
It's a reflection.
Yes,
it's a
yes.
reflection of our
Commercial.
time. It is a reflection in our time. But even it's true for Sentai as well, because even their gimmicks. You compare a season like Zhu Oger, where it's nothing but building blocks with numbers on it. It looks like the blocks from Super Mario Brothers 1. Compared to Minecraft, exactly. First thing that comes to mind. Compared to something like Die Ranger, which is the Thunder Megazord suits that we never got to use, minus Tommy, the White Ranger. That was a very mature season. I mean, Borai, the Green Ranger, Dragon Ranger, died in Mighty Morphin, or Zoo Ranger.
Yeah.
I mean, you take the gimmicks here, you could tell it's more kiddie. Even Tokuger, it's a train season. That whole season had to do with imagination. You compare that to, I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to take your life, and I'm going to send you straight to hell.
See, this is the thing that I wish
It's a reflection.
Our side of the Rangers did, and I've spoke about this before, is that I wish that, let's say Megaforce is a great starting point. I wish that they would have said, okay, we're going to target this age range, but we're going to grow up each season with our viewers. So, like, let's give it 5 years, and then we'll start it all over again with, like, another thing. Not seeing cast, but just growing up maturity-wise.
So basically progression.
Yes,
Right.
but see, I feel like that happened with Mighty Morphin.
It did,
going
absolutely.
all
The
the way up
space.
to
Even
Time
yeah.
Force, you know, and then from there it just went, okay, we're starting over.
Yeah, but see, I wish they would have continued that and
No,
did that build all over again.
The soap opera.
Yeah,
Right.
The
See,
problem,
because
I'm sorry.
that's why I love, you know, like Time
Listen,
Force, Lost
nobody
Galaxy.
can tell me that the Psycho Rangers
Yeah,
weren't.
The
you
most
know?
badass Rangers
Right?
ever
Like,
introduced. Yeah.
So like,
And we had Ranger deaths.
Yes,
you know? And
exactly.
that's something that
I think that, like,
I still love the Magna Defender storyline.
it was great. It was great.
It
It
was
was
very
awesome. But like these touching moments and these certain moments that, listen, I think I don't know how old I was, but like thinking about like the Kendricks thing, I was like a little like, dude, I can't believe this is like going down.
I
Lost
remember
Galaxy.
watching that, and I was sad. You know, as a kid, you're sad, you're crying. You know, you're like, oh my gosh, she died.
But
Lost
that-
Galaxy had some great moments.
Yeah.
It gets you there, though. It gets you there, and I think but that has to start at Mighty Morphin. It brought me to that crescendo.
Matter of fact, I mean, actually, when you think about it, dude,
Countdown to Destruction's another one.
But Lost Galaxy specifically, yeah, absolutely Countdown to
Yeah,
Destruction.
my
but
little brother was crying on that. You know, seeing Zordon die, he was crying.
I mean,
like,
Corone might have been dead. But what I said about Lost Galaxy, that the entire opening sequence was a whole planet being fossilized or captured in stone.
Yeah.
It had the Magna Defender with a little, like, he had a kid that got killed.
Yep.
Or his little brother.
It was a
It
kid.
was
It was his kid. His kid we actually showed him get shot and murdered. And his whole sacrifice before before Mike takes on the mantle, was him walking with his kid while he was
great.
Oh my
That's such
dude,
a
I remember
great
watching this.
And
Like,
is he holding like a rose or something?
he was holding a flower because that was his
yeah.
son. And
That
in
was
his
crazy.
mind, he was like, I'm joining my son.
Yeah.
And
That
then
was
Mike
awesome.
took on the mantle. I'm like, yes, Mike, you're destined to be a ranger too. He's a ranger. I don't care what anybody says. And Sentai, he's not. But anyways, I loved, again, Sentai, really great about the passion. And like you said, the cinematography, even the fight scenes, you could tell Raptor morphing for the first time.
Well, another
when
thing
she was
too
flying around,
is
that was a great scene.
The stakes. I feel like there's and also the villains do get the upper hand. I feel like I believe it's this episode where it's the first time the Rangers go into retreat.
A little bit. They didn't know how to defeat them.
Was it this episode or was it last episode?
Well, the problem with this episode, in this episode, basically, they're fighting to be the leader. They're fighting to be the leader, so they're kind of defeating themselves, but at the same time, the bad guys will call them out too, like, you guys suck. You're not even worth it.
And I love the fact that these are actual villains, and it's not even like, oh, we're goofy here. I like the fact that there is actually like, no, we can beat you.
Yeah.
And and they have to figure out how to win.
Stinger gets beat up, and
I love that.
He retreats because he knows he can't take him on.
But he puts on a good fight.
Yeah,
he actually puts on a good fight. And they have like those introductions to the bounty hunters.
I love that too.
Dude, and these are strong characters.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right with that because these characters are so strong. And Sentai, specifically Kyuranger, has done such a great job establishing the hierarchy, establishing the generals.
Another cool thing that this season's doing too is that they're giving you droplets of a character that's going to pay off later on in like 3 episodes.
Sure.
Like you get to see who the bounty hunters are, and you're going to see that, you know that's going to be a thing later on down the line.
Yeah. Great setup.
It's perfect setup.
Great setup.
It keeps you, it's a self-contained story, but it keeps you invested.
It keeps you
Invested.
thinking.
Yes.
It keeps you thinking like what's
And it
going to
makes you,
happen.
like,
Anticipation is established.
I was telling you this, is that like I have been lately just searching all this Kyuranger stuff because it's like I want to be fed everything I can
It's like
watch.
you want to know
I want to know,
already.
like that next week's episode can't come soon enough for me.
Yeah.
It's
Totally
like one of the only things that I'm like
and that's
sure
how
about.
it used to be here. You know, every Saturday morning you wanted to wake up early because you wanted to see the next episode. You know.
I will say this. I mean, this is definitely a cultural difference between America and Japan. The emphasis in Japan always has to do with the power of good, the power of children, imagination, protecting all that's righteousness. Not to say that Power Rangers isn't, but primarily Power Rangers is meant to be cool with lessons. It's cool. It's meant to be flash, and then maybe some substance, and then a Vic and Morty type of, not Morty. What the hell's his name?
Rick and Morty?
Victor Vincent and what's his name?
Victor Monty.
Monty. I was like, Rick and Morty, that ain't it. But no, like Vic and Monty, you know, you throw in like a fart joke, but it's about, hey, let me see how cool we can make this.
You know, I feel...
And then let's add like, hey, you can believe in yourself.
You know, here's the thing, is that I feel that with Dino Charge did a pretty decent job of fleshing out who the characters were.
I agree.
But I think that with Ninja Steel, they're giving you character-centric episodes, but I'm not feeling for any one of these characters the way I cared about Dino Charge.
I absolutely agree. And not to mention, when they morphed, dude, with Dino Charge, they highlighted the actual actors' abilities so well. There was no question they were in the suits.
Yes.
Like, they were in those suits. Ninja Steel, there's the cast, and then there's the morph scenes. There's the cast, and then there's the morph scenes. My favorite character right now is the Gold Ranger, because he was built up. And not even with a lot.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick one because it fluctuates week to week.
Right now, dude? I mean, even right now, you can't pick one?
I don't think so because I would like to say that it's Preston, but I don't see enough of Preston to say that. And that might be a bias because it's Peter.
I was about to say, it's because it's Peter.
No, absolutely could be.
Okay.
But then I know for sure it's not
Brody.
Brody.
But he doesn't do a lot. It's not Brody.
It's not Brody.
Calvin's a little bit more interesting.
For me.
Even Haley's more interesting.
You know why I like Calvin though is because he's vulnerable. And he's vulnerable, and the one that takes charge in their relationship is Haley. And I like the fact that Calvin's kind of just a guy that's trying to get there and trying to live up to all these things.
And he's relatable.
Yeah, he's relatable.
Very relatable.
He's relatable.
Not to mention, he's admirable too. Like, you admire what he has. He is a guy that's good with his hands. He has a kick-ass girlfriend.
The funny thing about that...
And there's both Rangers.
But on the flip side of that is that he doesn't really do much. So it's like... And granted, you got to think that Kyurangers, and this is episode 6 that we're talking about?
Yes.
In 6 episodes, they made me care about all 9 of these guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Including the commander, so 10. Yeah, but and we're already on Ninja Steel.
I don't give a crap about Gold, but he's funny as hell.
Well, you'll care next episode. But it's not a spoiler. But
okay.
In 8 episodes in Ninja Steel, I don't care nearly as much about any one of these characters the way I do about...
I'm starting to care about Gold because I'll tell you what. Maybe not care's a strong word, but Gold is the most interesting to me because guess what? He's the only one who has a theme that makes sense. He's a cowboy. He's a cowboy ranger.
You're talking about that Gold. I thought you meant like balance in Kyuranger.
Oh, I'm talking about Ninja Steel.
Gotcha.
You're talking about you don't care about anything. Like, I do. Gold is the most interesting character to me in Ninja Steel because he's the only one that makes sense. If I didn't know this was a Ninja season, I'm like, okay, cool, that's a cowboy ranger. He's a cowboy singer. This makes all the sense in the world. I found out how he found his ninja star. He got kidnapped and brainwashed. He escaped on a freaking UFO. I think
that was pretty smart, the way that they had to redo the kind of like...
That was brilliant.
I thought that was really smart.
That was brilliant. You know what he's getting, though? He's getting the... Really quick. He's getting the Orion treatment.
Yes.
You know how Orion showed up on Super Megaforce, and he was able to take over in one episode, which he did not feel for the rest of the cast? Unfortunately. Nothing against the Super Megaforce cast. But Orion lost the whole planet. This guy got kidnapped.
Doesn't that season remind you so much of Megaforce, though?
A little bit. Like, oh, yes, you're absolutely right. Like, talent, but no substance.
Yeah. Like, I feel that with what they're doing with the Gold Ranger, I also think Chip's...
You need to come back, by the way. This is amazing.
Chip's back is a little against the wall, too, because I feel like, all right, first
you feel like he's catering a little bit?
Well, no, because you're throwing a season out there, all right, how are you going to try to make all these Zords connect? I like the fact
I love the explanation.
I like the explanation, but I have a feeling that, like, there's so many mandates that must be implemented on him that are... Oh, it's almost like, okay... You came back for Dino Charge. Here's what we didn't like for Super Dino Charge. Change this. Yeah. Oh, we didn't like this. Now change this for Ninja Steel. And I feel like now he's getting handcuffed in a way. And I don't want to blame Saban or anybody else because this is all speculation on my part.
Sure.
But I feel like it's kind of like, okay, let the guy just do what he wants to do. Like, it's not going to be crazy.
I will say this. I think he did what he wanted to do with that Super Dino Charge ending. And
I don't think he did what he wanted to do.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Whoever had their ideas got greenlit for that ending. I don't know who to blame, but it was like, sure, we could do that. Sure, we could do that. Sure, we could do that.
I mean, I think a lot of this is misleading, and a lot of this is fan speculation. They want it to be real.
Course.
Like, we had Yoshi on the show with us.
We did.
And he straight up said that because everyone thought that... that the Talon Ranger was going to be the Death Uger.
And we did that to ourselves.
We
literally did that.
Even when Yoshi was on the show, it was like, no, that was never the intention.
And actually, when you think about it, Talon Ranger, supposed to be Silver Ranger, it's a big bird with talons. When you hear it like that, it's like, it's obvious.
Yeah, but
it was another name for Silver Ranger.
As fans, we all just kind of wanted to go there. And it makes sense. I mean, it's not our fault. I mean, give us a cool looking fucking ranger. Sorry, you give us a cool looking ranger, and that's what happens.
Actually, I kind of wish he was called Talon Ranger because he was a bird. He was a bird ranger. We got a graphite ranger, which was kick-ass. I like rangers without ranger color names like Quantum.
I agree.
Quantum Ranger,
That's
Lunar Wolf.
But this is why I have high hopes for because I rumored Derek Kirby. I gotta shout you out because he always sends me messages. He's my Kyuranger guy. So he'll send me all the latest updates.
We might be in the same message, actually.
No, it's just a personal one. Like, he always sends me news articles and, like, Spanish websites. But
I get the same. Like,
yeah, he's great. But I was like, how many are there? And he says he thinks there's 13 in total.
Okay. Because we know 11 for sure.
Yeah. But 11 for sure. Then there's rumors of White Ranger. And then there's rumors of, like, another one.
I hope it's a girl. I hope it's a female. I don't think it's going to be, but
I like the fact though if we got something like
it's going to be a girl.
I think it's a little kid.
But
I think it's the little kid.
I think it's a little kid too.
I think it's the little kid that was in the best.
It's the little kid.
I would like something like a Phoenix Ranger, or I'm sorry, if you want to go constellation wise, or something like an Orion Ranger or something like
the Big Dipper.
It doesn't matter necessarily what it is, but I just like you said, I like the fact that it doesn't need to be a specific color kind of Ranger.
Exactly. I like even Crimson Ranger and Navy Ranger. Well, Navy's a color.
Diamond
well, actually, technically that's a color.
Diamond would be great.
Totally take that back.
Diamond, Platinum.
Platinum. I want to see a Platinum Ranger.
Like these would be super cool.
Shadow Ranger.
Yeah.
Dude, epic as all can be.
Like, this is a great time, too, because you have so many constellations, so many, like, the Black Hole Ranger or something. You have so many different things you can do with this show.
Dibs on not being that guy.
I mean, that's... But, like, you can do, like, the Saturn Ranger, the Mercury Ranger,
I like the Saturn Ranger. That sounds sick.
But there's so many
Mercury... Oh, we have had a Mercury Ranger.
We have.
Holy crap.
I think it would be so
cool. Awesome season. Operation Overdrive. But no, absolutely right. And just to wrap up this episode real quick, nothing much happens, but we do have a Hammy story. We do have Lucky have his powers be established, which is he's lucky, but he works his butt off. Lucky works his butt off. And again, we're connecting this all to Sentai, and we're nerding out about this kind of stuff because Sentai does very well as far as character establishment.
I have a question for you guys about Lucky a little bit.
Say that again?
I have a question for you guys about Lucky. So, I know I messed it. But,
I was making sure it wasn't me. Oh, wait. Was that a combo word?
So, my question is when we first start with Lucky, he almost seems like he's supposed to be extremely unlikable. To me. Annoying and unlikable. Now,
but also not the first Red Ranger to be so.
Sure. But do you feel now that you've kind of like, all right, I kind of
Warmed
like
up?
it. Yeah, like I really like this guy.
See,
I'm sorry, go for
that
it.
happened with my little brother too. He was so annoyed. He was like, "Is he gonna keep saying this the whole time?" He was like annoyed, and now he's just like, "When is the next episode?"
Yeah,
You know?
like I kind of like this guy.
I have a couple of moments where, okay, the first moment made me go, okay, that was kind of cool for you. And then I feel like this episode made me go like, you know what? I'm glad they addressed that he's a hard worker.
Yeah.
Sure.
The first one for me is like when he first gets on planet Earth and he was kind of like, you know what? Screw you guys. You guys are willing to sacrifice your kids' dreams? Get the hell out my way. The hell's wrong with you? Y'all suck. Every single one of you sucks. He didn't do that. But point is, he was just like, you know what? This is unacceptable. Okay, I'm like, okay, that was a cool moment for you. This episode where the commander, again, first time really acting like a commander, was like, Hami, Garu, follow me. It's not that he's always lucky and he's working his butt off. And he's able to inspire.
And he's passionate about
He's
it
able
too.
to inspire his team. And actually, one thing I really love about this episode is it establishes the ship's quarters. They have a gymnasium.
which is so cool.
They have an actual war room.
It reminds me of a X-Mansion in space.
It kind of reminds me of a Millennium Falcon a little bit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Where
yeah.
there's like different cargoes and different, I mean, obviously much more mundane in the Millennium Falcon, but this has different areas.
I mean, the show's doing a really brilliant job at creating its own mythology
Identity, too.
and identity. Yeah, I also like the fact that, you know, he shoots pool to get the
Yeah.
ball down.
That's hilarious.
It's great.
It's hilarious. In the
The
middle of
musical
nowhere,
number.
we have the
Yeah.
Q-let just because we can.
Matter
There's
of
a
fact,
toy, by the way.
we need the QLED. That
There's
thing
a
is
toy.
amazing.
But it's a little bit disappointing because the toy itself is like you get these little spheres, but they're not the full size
Oh,
one.
I
So
want-
it's not like the big bingo.
I want to
wheel.
make one of those.
We're gonna make one for
figures.
hashtag, dude. I'm telling
Who's
you.
gonna be on the next show? We just pull out three faces.
It'd be like it's totally gonna be like Daniel, freaking
Migdalia. And
Migdalia. No, your boy, comic dude, Dave.
Dave. It'll be so random.
Oh, but actually, Dave would knock this out. He likes Sentai.
He loves Sentai.
Actually, I take that back. So not Dave. Migdalia, Daniel, and like freaking Sarah.
Brian via Skype.
Brian via like on the phone, like.
No, but I think it would be. I mean, that's such a cool gimmick, though. That all right, we got to send 5 Rangers down. We're not going to pay for 9 Rangers. It's so
Yeah.
smart. So
Wait,
smart.
why are only 5 of us going? Budget reasons.
Budget reasons.
And then they actually but they gave us both. They gave us like the actual reason and then like the BS reason. It was like, we don't talk about it, budget concerns. And then actually there's only amount of like energy that
It's
we can use.
brilliant.
But to be honest with you, like that's not true because we've had all 9 Rangers morph before. So whatever. We don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care. Anyway, so we had to rate this episode. Very straightforward. We had a Pegasus kind of sentient horse thingy on a guy's chest. We have our Kyuranger tropes at this point. We have the QLED. We have Megazord fights, which
I love the QLED. My favorite thing in the world.
Dude, I have the Megazord now, and dude, just being able to switch out the limbs is so fun.
Is it cool?
It's so fun. I'm bringing it down one time, and dude,
I was gonna buy you the Morpher when we were at Pasadena.
It's not too late. It's okay.
Oh, I thought you had it though.
I don't hear a question here. You can still buy me another one. I would not argue with you.
Tattoo on his arms.
Be like, yeah, do the thing.
Oh,
do
dude,
the
that'd
thing.
actually be cool if one of the Rangers had 2.
That would be
that would be
dope.
pretty cool.
That would be dope. And actually, I
We
love
change
this.
colors?
And actually, I love this morpher. It's a different morpher.
I love it too.
No,
Sorry, that was my bad.
his people needs him. His people need him.
I love that, and I also like it almost sounds video gamey when it's like, say the chain.
Save
Yeah,
the
save the
chain.
chain.
Like it sounds very video gamey. I just love it.
I love the English as well. It's like, say the dock or dock the go, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like,
everything about this season is amazing. Like even I get so hyped just listening to the theme
the
song.
theme song is amazing. I always do it. Every time I see the hanger and them lined up
It reminds me so
Seeing
much
the
of an anime.
planet and
Yeah.
in front of Earth and then it opens up. It's so
I
hype.
love that scene.
I'm sorry.
It's beautiful. Like everything from start. And I love the dance sequence. You know what I mean?
It's so cheesy, but it's so good. I love the civilian
ending
uniform.
scene.
Yeah.
I love the ending song so much.
The dance.
No, just the song, like it just really, you know how it's just like building. You're like, yeah.
And I also like that it was brilliant that they would only use the Rangers that you had discovered were Rangers.
Yeah,
those
and for the
sequences.
first
Like, it
ones,
made
yeah.
sense.
It slowly introduced itself.
Yeah.
Like literally the show is so self-aware. The opening sequence changes all the time.
Well,
the
you can-
introduction changes all the
exactly.
time.
You can imagine if one of them left, like they would take that person
and then
out.
also at the end, they would be blacked out,
Yep.
and then once they were revealed, they would just like
That was
appear.
so
that
great.
was great.
It's just brilliant.
It's a really great show. I love it. It's such a clear like season. Anyways, if you had to rate this, what am I saying? If you had to rate today's episode, 1 through 5? Cue balls. Cue spheres.
Q spheres?
Danny, 1 through 5, what would you rate this episode?
1 through 5, I do 3.5 or 4.
Okay, let's go for it. Joe?
4.
I'm going to give it a solid 3.5 to 4. Absolutely. It's going good. You're an episode ahead. I got to catch up, but I mean...
You're 2 ahead, aren't you? From 6.
Yeah.
I gotta watch 8. I gotta watch 8 tonight.
I got to catch up.
And I just really liked it because, you know, they're basically showing you the dance in an episode, you know?
It's so great.
No, I love this season. And I want the civilian suits. I love the suits themselves.
Yes.
Oh, and I will say this. This has to be Rangers or Sentai, my favorite morphing sequence.
Oh, it's great.
This morphing sequence, the special effects, the way the star appears in front of them, the way it comes up. I mean, dude, even like the roll call and you see all the freaking like space stuff in the back.
I love his...
The trick star.
Oh, you know what else I really like too is that they all wear the jackets, but most of them all wear it in a different manner, or they all have their own like flair.
There's different details.
Like Champ, like it's hanging off of him.
It doesn't fit
it's
him.
so great. Like I love it. Yeah. Like, and I like that Balance has like the star on his shoulder.
Dude, even Stinger's version looks like Stinger. I'm just like, he's not gonna wear a cool ass jacket. He does wear a cool ass jacket, but he still looks like Stinger.
And I love
the Desert Nomad.
You know what it reminds me of though? It reminds me of the X-Men having uniforms, but all customizing.
Yes, like Beast, kind of like, you know, doing the Beast thing, and dude, absolutely.
I like that. It's team unity, but you can be an individual. I think that's so cool.
And they're all leaders.
And they're all leaders. Dude, this episode was a lucky selling point for me. It was a turning point for me.
I agree. Like I was a little Luke. I mean, I was warming up to him.
It was okay. He was all right.
Yeah, I was warming up to him, and I think this one to me, it's kind of like, oh, you made me care for him now.
That's the reason why I like you, because guess what? You don't even want to be the leader. Like, technically, you don't. You really kind of don't. And that's what makes you the leader.
Right.
And Hammy's still cute as hell. So, anyways, we're going to get to our favorite parts. We're going to get to your questions and comments from last week's episode. And Danny, our special guest, will you please start it off?
All right.
I take it back. I have a little bit more.
Okay.
So, I'm going to go first. James Payton. What up, James Payton? Scorpio has a tail, and Ryu Commander is Sho Runbo because he has the staff. Also, I think that Scorpio kills Champ's creator, and Champ did say moo. Okay, Champ does say moo. I'm going to continue watching Kyuranger. Thank you very much, James. Mr. Joe.
Angel Reyna.
What up, Angel?
What up, Angel? I think Lucky will always get picked because he's lucky, red, and he needs to from Q Reno.
That's true. We actually talked about that.
Yep.
All right, this one is from Blackwing 2040.
Hashtag B-Dub in the house.
Seeing all 9 Rangers was so freaking epic. Feels like looking at a rainbow of Rangers. Plus, you can never go wrong with having 9 or 10 or even 11 Rangers for a team.
I want 15.
Skittle Rangers.
I want 15.
It was awesome seeing Christopher again. He's so hilarious. I never would have thought it would be fun. I would find Super Sentai so cool. At first, I was against Super Sentai. I know, crazy, right? But of course, you never know until you check it out. I love Super Sentai and Power Rangers equally, and I hope to being a Ranger someday.
Thank you, B-Dub.
Me too.
I have a comment from Apollo.
You are a Ranger, though.
You are a Ranger. You actually kind of are. Many Rangers, actually. Apollo Thunderflame, what up, dude? Fun fact, this isn't the first time Scorpio's actor has played an older brother. He was also Kamen Rider Gaim as Kamen Rider Zangetsu. That's a great call. The older brother to Kamen Rider Ryungen. Thank you, sir.
Troy Two-Face.
What up, Troy?
What up, Troy?
What up?
Stinger is my favorite Ranger so far, and his backstory is really interesting.
Mine too.
His brother being evil will definitely be a focal point for Stinger's story going forward, and him being a spy does make sense, though the reveal could have been handled a little better. Do you guys think we'll get more Rangers after Purple and Sky Blue?
We know of one at least, yes.
One is supposedly white. We don't know if that's going to be called the White Ranger, though, because it looks more like the Nova Ranger.
What if it's like Celestial?
SPD. Hey, I'm all for it, man.
Sick.
The helmet design looks super cool, though.
They all do, though.
Yeah, there's not a bad helmet in this
love
season.
this
You know what? I just thought of something.
Talk to us.
Stinger's brother. How cool would it be if he ends up being a Ranger?
I would love
but
it.
he's evil.
I love this idea because I almost like the fact, I would love that because when's the last time? Well, listen, I don't watch that. This is my first time really diving into Sentai. But like, I would love like the fact that there can be an evil ranger that stays evil, and that's their biggest opposition.
Yeah, it happened with Kyuranger. Yeah.
We had a Death Ruger. Death Ruger never converted, and we were able to get his Spinal Zord and everything.
And it'd be so cool if Stinger's brother happens to have a cube.
That would be.
I do have a question for you guys, and this is just more so for my own knowledge. Do you know the movies like the one that Death Ruger's in?
Yes.
Do they show those like on Kiss Anime too when they come out, or how does that work?
Yes.
They do. So like when it would come out there, we would.
Depending on how fast they're able to get their hands on it, convert it. A lot of the uploads for that website and specifically are from subtitled known websites like TV, NoHo.
So chronologically, though, it would still fit into place. Like we would get it when they get it, like chronologically. No, it wouldn't.
We get it when we get it.
Yeah.
It's not like
whenever they're done or whenever they get their hands on it.
Gotcha.
Once it's converted, and then we'll be able to do something with it.
Gotcha.
So to speak.
Gotcha.
Individual efforts. Yep. Okay, we have Shibumi 8.
That's the last comment, right?
What up, Shibumi 8? Another great hangout. Looking forward to your reactions next week. While there isn't a cupcake morpher yet, that Kira Procure show does have a cake pudding, ice cream, and macaroon one. That was a sentence. Been around since before MMPR hit Fox Kids, so my first were Ultraman and Godzilla. But my first Sentai was Shogun Sentai Jetman.
Jetman's a pretty popular one. That was an impressive throw.
I have one last one. This one's from Edward Sanchez Productions.
Hashtag Edward Sanchez approved.
So far, I'm enjoying these Henshin Hangout videos. Great job, DJ and Kelly.
If Kelly was here, she would say thank you.
That's my last one.
See, our papers love us.
But I gotta say, those commercials for that Tyson are pretty amazing.
Right?
They're pretty amazing.
Oh, Tyson, yes. For those who don't know at home, Toei and the production company for all tokusatsu do these Tyson mashups, which is kind of like their version of the Avengers, where they take all of the characters, a lot of the past actors, a lot of the past suited actors, a lot of the present and new up and coming, and they just make a whole plot device where they could all just freaking suit actor it out.
Is this like based in continuity though? These things?
No.
See, that's
yes and no. Actually,
no. See, that's
yes and no.
When Kyuranger started, I questioned it because I was like, okay, Earth got taken over. Why?
Right.
What happened to all the other Sentai? So I don't know where it's taking place because in the clips that we see, I see Uchi, Koryu Gold. You see Daigo in Carnival mode. You see Captain Marvelous. So I'm like, if all these heroes are here, what happened?
So there has to be some form of
So let me answer it this way. A lot of the movies, not all of them, but a lot of the movies can happen independently where it doesn't affect the main show. But there have been movies where the movies themselves are mentioned on the show.
And that fan base just doesn't question. It's kind of like, all right, whatever.
It's an accepted thing. It's kind of like having Dragon Ball Z, the show.
Is it almost like us having the Power Ranger movie?
Exactly that.
Okay.
The only difference is, like back in the day when we were kids,
they'll interconnect.
We expected it to be interconnected, but this will at least acknowledge it. It's either part of it or it's not part of it at all. Like Gokaiger is beautiful in the sense that there was a movie called 199.
That was great, by the way. I saw that. Yeah.
And it was a dope movie. Yeah. But in the actual TV show, they mentioned it in like a flashback sequence, like, "Hey, by the way, we got the special keys from our friends," and then they show it real quick and then go back to the main plot.
Right.
So depending on the movie. It could act independently, but certain specials can be integrated.
Drive and a Ninja, that was a cross universe.
Right.
So it's like an interdimensional thing.
Sure.
That didn't happen.
I mean,
in the Sentai universe.
Is that what we're kind of getting? I guess in episode 7 of Kyuranger, with the.
Didn't see it yet.
Well, it's not a spoiler.
Yeah, I know. It's with
Kamen
Rider X8. Yeah.
Because it's in the preview.
Yeah. That's what I question too.
Yeah, but the way that it happens is super cool. I'm not going to spoil that, but it is pretty cool.
It's fine. It's Sentai. But at the same time, I mean, it's a great effort because the actors, a lot of times for these Tyson movies, they're called Tyson. They have like different letters, Tyson Z, Tyson S, Tyson XXZ, whatever. And they're great efforts because a lot of these actors still look great.
Yeah.
And they get invited back and they don't skip a beat, man. It's like,
they still got it.
It's like imagine like a whole bunch of JDFs coming back. Like it is that. It is literally that. It's just like, man, you guys look great, man. I remember when, dude, you were like the first one.
You go to some of these conventions, Nakia Baris looks great. Like a lot of these actors look great. Like Jason Font's in better shape now than I think he was when he was on the show.
Absolutely was. And shout out to Serena Vincent. So, anyways, dude, Danny, I want to thank you for joining us for the Henshin Hangout, dude. It was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun.
Thank you.
Please tell everybody. No, please tell everybody where they can find your work.
You guys can find my work on youtube.com/surfratsurfer.
Good stuff, man.
And Instagram?
Instagram, you can check out some behind the scenes where we're hanging out. Sometimes I hang out with these guys, and I also post it on Instagram. That's We the Geeks of ELA.
So once again, look up We the Geeks of East LA. Ranger family, unite, #unite. Shout out to Rangers live chat. Shout out to Steven Zarita. Dude, it's all about the Ranger love, man.
Scott Zillner.
Absolutely.
Hey, Japan
Absolutely.
World
And if I forgot anybody out there, please forgive me. But I love the fact that bringing us closer together. And you know what? We have these guys to thank, you know? That's all love. That's all love. Joe, where can we find you?
On YouTube, right here at that hashtag
That
show.
stuff.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, that hashtag Joe. You'll find me. I'm always around.
If you find him, I'm probably there. Not always accurate, but close enough. You can find me on Instagram, pretty much the main thing I use, at dj.2.rivers.
Why the 2? Was DJ Rivers taken?
Yes.
Was it really?
Yes. Wow. It's not the reason for the 2, though. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us for the Henshin Hangout. Please let us know what you liked about today's episode. Give us your thoughts and comments, and give us your questions as well. Make sure you turn on that notifications for YouTube because YouTube is kind of wonky. Make sure you keep up with everything that we put out on all of our shows. What do we have even new? We have like new shows, right?
We're going to have new shows starting this week. You're going to see Doctor Who tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're also going to be doing Twin Peaks. We're going to be doing American Gods.
All the good stuff. All the good stuff.
All the goodies.
Oh, Attack on Titan?
Attack on Titan! I'm juiced for that. I'm not going to be on it. But super juiced. Make sure you check out that hashtag show. Anyways, please hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture. So lucky!